So I'm practicing 9 languages on Duolingo, but today we're going to focus just on Russian. Mostly because I saw the YouTube analytics of my last video, which went over all of them, and most of you stopped watching after 2 minutes. So I'm not going to edit all of that if you're not going to watch it. But that also gives me the opportunity that I think I'm going to try to just talk a little bit more and give my commentary, because that's probably the more interesting part anyway, right? Like, you didn't really come here to watch me just silently do my Duolingo for the day. So I'm going to try to share my thoughts as I'm like learning the language and processing it and the mistakes that I'm making and the things that I'm learning.
Это молоко.
Это молоко. Молоко. So это, we've got this sound makes the E sound it, and then these kind of make sense to be to. Это. And then we're making moleko.
Это молоко.
Moleko. This makes the most sense right away. I know it's right actually because this is milk, so it's actually saying this is milk, I think. But kind of one strategy that I'm using with Russian in general, since most of these letters don't really make sense to me, is just trying to find one or two of them that do make sense, right? So eto, to, that makes sense. That's the only one here that ends with to, and then moleko, moloko.
Это молоко.
Moleko. Mo, and then oko. That kind of makes sense. But I think this is milk, right? So this is milk. This is milk.
Это не молоко.
Это не молоко. Okay, so we've got это moleko. We just went over that. This is milk. And I know that не, this H-looking guy, makes a n sound. So не, это не молоко is not. So this is not milk. Это не молоко. This is not milk. I eat soup. So this is ya is
Yeah.
I. Yeah. And then I need eat, which I think is just im.
Ем.
Im. Yim. Oh, there's kind of a Y sound out in front of that E. Yim. And then this is soup. Soup. So the C makes kind of the SC sounds. And then math or like Greek letters, upsilon, is more of a U sound. So su. And there's a pi here. I don't know if this is what they actually call it in Russian, but I'm kind of framing it in terms of like the Greek letters that I know from a math background. So siup.
Суп.
Soup. It's pronounced more like soup even. I eat soup. Yam soup. So even more of a hard U sound. Soup.
Ел.
Yeah. So we know that this sound, we just kind of went over that a couple times. This makes the U sound, and this is more of an E. So this would be like
Ел.
yo. The second noise is like an L, yell. So this would be more like an ale.
Ел.
So this is
Yell.
yell. Yay.
Мой суп.
My soup. My soup. Right, and that hearing it is a little bit less intimidating too, I think. When you look at this, it's hard to just directly translate it right away, but if you hear my soup, right,
Мой суп.
that sounds like my soup. This isn't cheese. So eto is this, eto,
Это.
eta. And then we're structuring it like this, not cheese, as I believe how like the language is structured, the grammar is structured. If we were to write eto ser, this is cheese, right? This cheese. But if we throw the nya in there, if we throw it in there, eto не ser, this not cheese.
Юлия политик.
Yulia politik. Okay, so I just recognize this as Yulia from prior lessons too.
Yulia.
And then politik needs to start with a P, and it's a longer word. This I also recognize pilot.
Пилот.
So we got politik.
Политик.
And now, kind of structurally too, I'm going to hit guess. Oh, they actually were phrasing
Юлия
it.
политик.
From the context of his voice, he's actually asking like a question. You know, Yulia politik? I don't think it was that pronounced.
Юлия политик.
But then, you know, we've got 4 words for that, right? Is Yulia a politician in English? But in Russian, we've just got 2. Yulia politician. And if we're asking this question right, it's the context of your voice. Yulia politik. But if we're stating it as a fact, like if you were to respond to this and say, yes, Yulia is a politician, you would just say, da, Yulia politik. That's how I understand it, at least. Also, I'm going to be speaking very confidently. I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about for the last 3 lessons. So this is how I'm interpreting it. This is not necessarily how it is. In case that comes back to bite me, I claim the right to be wrong, even if I sound confident. Yulia politik is Yulia politician.
Светлана политик.
Oh, here. This one sounds more of a statement. So I think this one is just going to be Svetlana is a politician.
Svetlana. Политик.
Politik.
Светлана политик.
Right, just 2 words. Svetlana politik. Very efficient. Svetlana politik. but it's saying the idea it's getting across is Svetlana is a politician. And if you were to like change your voice like the other one to Svetlana politik, that makes it into a question, right? Is Svetlana a politician? Yes, Svetlana is a politician.
Это Антон. Это
Это
Антон.
Anton. The emphasis, or like the little like accent at the end of his voice kind of made that sound like a question even.
Это Антон.
Right, that kind of sounds like a question. So I think this one is actually going to be, when we hit check, I think this one is going to be, is this Anton? But it also could just be like, this is Anton. Yeah, it's a question, right? Is this Anton? So it's the same thing that I kind of said the last couple ones, right? There's two words. Both of them are very like efficient with their words. This, eto, Anton. This, Anton. Is this Anton? This is Anton.
Он не капитан.
On is he, не is not, Kapitan, captain. He not captain. He is not a captain.
Сыр и мясо.
Сыр не мясо. Cheese, and honestly this one we're grabbing it entirely from the word bank. But from the context of cheese, we're naming foods. It makes sense for this one to be meat. The cheese and the meat. Interesting. So this was correct to say, cheese and meat. But another correct solution is the cheese and the meat. So that, again, that's kind of that efficiency that I'm learning is built into Russian, is that there isn't this kind of extra word at the back, the cheese. And you kind of see the opposite of that actually in like some of the Romance languages, like Spanish and Italian, French. Like a lot of them have extra thes. I'll see if I can stitch in an example later. Okay, I'm actually curious about finding an example of the extra like the. So we're going to go to French. I'm going to the United States. We are visiting Japan. Can we find that one? Start. Here. Okay. Nous visitons le Japon. Visitons. Okay. But either way, I got the conjugation wrong. But here we have like that extra the that isn't normally in there for, not normally, but isn't in there for English, right? We would say it as we are visiting Japan. But this one is we visit the Japan. We visit the Japan. So I think that's a very interesting, like, just an interesting comparison. Right? English to Russian has less of those kind of, what is that type of word even called? Definite article. The is a definite article, or a word that refers to a specific person, place, or thing known to the reader or listener. So anyway, that's all to say. Russian seems to have less of those definite articles. And then French and like Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, I'm lumping into the same category. Those have more of those definite articles. Not really more of a takeaway other than that. Just an interesting observation that I'm going to leave you thinking on. So thanks for watching. Bye.